Hi, I'm Kirby Allison. I'm really excited to be here in London at the World Championship of Shoemaking. I've got with me right here Daniel Wegan, one of the entrants into the contest. This is the shoe that he made for us. As you guys know, Master Last Maker and Master Shoemaker from Gaziano Girling. And you know, he has certainly one of the more interesting and higher level entrants into this competition, and we're thrilled to have him with us today to kind of talk with us about his inspiration for this shoe and some of the really unique characteristics that he put into the make. So Daniel, thank you so much for being with us. You know, we had a great time visiting the Gaziano Girling workshop, and you know, you're certainly well regarded as certainly one of the leaders, you know, kind of really doing cutting edge, really high level work in shoemaking. And so it's really great to see you know, a shoe of yours in this competition.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be able to participate in the competition, and I think it's been a great turnout and a lot of interesting shoes to look at, both for shoemakers and for shoe aficionados.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to us a little bit. I mean, this is an absolutely incredible shoe. You know, of course, the contest, you know, the call wasn't to make a practical shoe that someone could wear, but really, you know, a showpiece, you know, that really, you know, showcased the capabilities and craftsmanship. And so, you know, speak to us about kind of your inspiration for this and some of the, you know, particular things that you put time and attention into.
Yeah, no, it's actually true what you're saying, is that this is something to exhibit your skill, and you're allowed to work within the format to make a shoe that best shows your skill and what your strengths are, and show it to the public in a way that they might usually not get to experience. So classic black Oxford is probably one of my favorite styles, so I think you all picked a great style for the competition this year. And I've always liked the show pieces of the late 1800s, World's Fair kind of thing. And this is like my nod to that. I would never put myself in that place, but this is what would be my interpretation.
So what are the things, I mean, so, you know, thinking of a shoe from the, you know, late 19th century versus a shoe you'd see today, you know, what are some of the differences kind of in the aesthetic?
I think some of it would strike people initially is that they probably quite have a bit more feminine lines that you would maybe see today. Lighter weight soles, higher heels, just a little bit more shape to it. And I think it probably worked back then when people generally were a bit smaller, had smaller feet. And also it followed the fashion at the time. So I think it all went hand in hand. And I think it's something that works really well as an exhibition shoe. Yeah. And it's a lot less pedestrian.
Yeah, of course. And so, you know, two of the three characteristics was difficulty and execution.
Yeah.
So talk to us about some of the really kind of challenging technical aspects of this shoe that really kind of pushed you.
One of the challenges are that you're working with the shape and something that you don't do day to day. So just that puts you out of your comfort zone. But I've tried to do really fine stitching, use a little bit thinner lifts in the heel, and just keeping it very nice and clean and something that will be worthy of appreciation, hopefully long after I'm gone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, one of the things that immediately strikes me is, you know, it's kind of will be hard to see in the camera, but just the stitching, you know, that you used attaching the sole to the welt. I mean, this is much finer than what someone normally would see in even a really incredibly well-made bespoke shoe.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you probably wouldn't put of something that you would wear day to day. It probably wouldn't be practical, but I've always liked the look of that, and it's about doing something difficult and trying to execute it.
So a normal bespoke shoe will have, you know, around 10 to 12 stitches per inch, you know, on the sole.
Yeah.
And, you know, what were you able to achieve here?
This is a 21, so it's quite significantly smaller, and whilst doing it, I kind of regretted it, but it came out pretty good. So.
And what did you regret? Just that it took so long?
It took a lot longer than I thought it would, and yeah, putting another stitch in between what you're, you know, doubling up, it just creates a whole lot of problems with the thread you need to use, the tooling you need to use. It's just a lot of things that you're not prepared for when you don't do it every day.
And did you have to, I mean, you had to, of course, make special welt thread, and and then any special tools that you didn't have that you had to go find?
No, modifying awls and so on. It's not a huge deal, but you know, you're making your own tools to something you've never done before. So.
And then one of the other thing is the edge is really trimmed in close. I mean, I guess you can find that in a bespoke shoe, but it's something that from an aesthetic perspective, you know, I'm looking at this and I almost don't see the edge at all.
Yeah, I like the shape of the last and the shoe to stand out more than the shape of the sole, and it just gives it a nice lightweight appearance. And especially when you're using a thinner sole, they can tend to look even wider. So I just try to keep it nice and close.
And of course, a seamless back, and then even just the stitching along the pattern is, you know, strikes me as being much finer than what you would normally find. Is that right?
We all took it down a notch. When you're doing a slimmer, more elegant shoe, it's nice to kind of take everything down to suit that format. If you're making it something small and elegant, you know, a standard stitch can look a lot bigger than it should be.
And then beautiful beveled waist, of course, you know, kind of maybe an ode to the Gaziano style.
Yeah, that's something that's really our house style, and you would see on most of our shoes. This is just same like everything, just taking it to that one step further.
Beautifully naturally finished sole, and then even if you just look at the shape of the heel, I mean, the heel just has an incredibly elegant, you know, horseshoe shape to it, with beautiful kind of brass nails.
Yeah, the heels is probably one of my favorite parts of a shoe, and it's one of those things that when it's done right, you don't notice it, but if it's wrong, it really is a sore thumb. And I didn't want to go too advanced with the nail pattern, just something that's still wearable. Classy and timeless.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is absolutely incredible work.
Thank you.
You know, I'm so excited to kind of see how things play out. But you know, certainly doing, you know, incredibly high-end work, and you know, what better showcase of that?
Regardless of what it places today, it's a shoe I'm very proud of, and I'm happy to see it with all the other contestants. So.
Absolutely. Well, Daniel, thank you so much, and best of luck in the competition.
Thank you.
Cheers.